I'm going to tell you something you already know but desperately need to hear. You are not lazy. Seriously, you're ambitious. You watch videos like this, you have massive goals, and your brain is probably buzzing with 10 brilliant ideas right now. The problem is you're also the person who's been about to start that project for 3 months. You're in a painful, constant state of wanting to achieve everything but doing nothing. You're the poster child for ambitious but lazy. And here's the crazy part. I'm one of you. But over the last few years, I've figured out why we fail. And it's not a character flaw. It's because we've been trying to solve our procrastination with willpower, which, trust me, runs out faster than free Wi-Fi. The actual secret to crushing your goals isn't to try harder, but to trick your lazy brain. In the next few minutes, I'm going to give you the 3 mental hacks, including the 2-minute rule, that will eliminate your starting procrastination, and the Swiss cheese method for tackling massive projects without the overwhelm. These aren't just positive thoughts. They are science-backed techniques that force you into action no matter how tired your brain is. Stick with me, because your life changes the minute you stop trying to be perfect and start making things ridiculously easy. The no perfection step. Create easy routines, don't rely on willpower. All right, let's dive into the first massive mistake we lazy, ambitious people make. It's the no perfection step. And it starts with this truth. We are obsessively focused on perfection, and we rely on willpower to start. And let me tell you, relying on willpower is a fool's errand. Seriously, don't rely on it. Because guess what? Psychologists call it ego depletion. Your willpower is a finite resource. Think of it like your phone battery. You wake up at 100%, but every decision you make, from choosing what to wear to deciding if you should check your email, drains it. By the time you get home from work or school and need to tackle your actual project, you're on 15%. Your battery is dead. And the last thing you want to do is struggle. You've been using the wrong tool for the job. So what's the hack? We stop trying to will ourselves into action and start creating easy routines. We need to make the desired action the most obvious and simplest thing in the room. This is the difference between an action that requires a mental battle and an action that's automatic. For example, you want to exercise, but by 7 p.m., the thought of finding your gym clothes and filling your water bottle feels like climbing Mount Everest. Don't rely on tired you to make that choice. Automate it. The night before, or even right now, put your running shoes and a water bottle right next to your bed or by the front door. The routine isn't go for a run. The routine is when my alarm goes off, my eyes see the shoes. Now the barrier to entry is gone. You don't have to decide to do the hard thing. You just have to bend over and put on the shoes. Think of routines like training wheels for your life. They make the motion automatic until it requires zero mental energy. You're not aiming for perfection, you're aiming for consistency and no-brainer ease. So here's your tiny homework right now. What is one small step you can take today to make a future task automatic? Maybe it's putting a notepad next to your coffee machine to write your to-do list while the coffee brews. Stop relying on a hero effort and start creating a structure that makes laziness impossible. The hardest part is starting. Use the 2-minute rule. The biggest lie we tell ourselves is, I'll start when I feel motivated. But motivation often comes after starting, not before. The hardest part of any task, whether it's writing a novel or cleaning your room, is overcoming that initial inertia, that first push. That's why we use the 2-minute rule, a concept popularized by author James Clear. The rule is simple. Scale down any new habit to take less than 2 minutes to do. The goal is to lower the barrier to entry so drastically that starting feels easier than avoiding the task. Want to read a book? You're not reading a chapter, you're going to read 1 page. Want to work out? You're literally just putting on your shoes. That's it. The point is not to finish the task. The point is to master the habit of showing up. Once you're in motion, your brain gets tricked. If you've laced up your shoes and walked outside, the chances of you turning around and going back in are extremely low. It's based on Sir Isaac Newton's first law of motion. Objects at rest, stay at rest, and objects in motion, stay in motion. You are building momentum. Here's a bonus tip. Reward yourself for starting. After you've done your 2 minutes, celebrate in a small way. Maybe it's listening to your favorite song or a short break. Rewards make starting feel good and train your lazy brain to seek out that dopamine hit from initiation rather than procrastination. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to start. The procrastinator's secret weapon, the Swiss cheese method. Okay, the 2-minute rule is great for small daily habits. But what about massive, overwhelming projects like a 50-page business plan or studying for an intense final exam? Your ambitious brain sees the size of the project, gets scared, and your lazy brain hits the emergency brake. We need a hack for this mental paralysis, and it's called the Swiss cheese method. Imagine that huge, daunting project is a solid block of cheese. Instead of trying to eat the whole block at once, you're going to poke random, small holes in it. The Swiss cheese method means breaking down an intimidating task into tiny, non-sequential holes that can be filled in any order. For a big report, don't start at the introduction. That's the trap. Instead, create holes like Hole 1. Format the title page and bibliography. 5 minutes. Hole 2. Find 2 sources on the topic. 10 minutes. Hole 3. Write 3 bullet points for the conclusion. 8 minutes. You start with the easiest, lowest energy hole first. Those tiny dopamine hits from completing a micro task trick your lazy brain into feeling productive and wanting more. The pressure is off because you're not committed to the whole project, you're just committed to filling one tiny hole. Over time, those little holes merge, and before you know it, the whole intimidating block of cheese is gone. It's about making a huge problem manageable and leveraging your desire for quick, low-effort wins. The failure is just data mindset, reframing. Every ambitious but lazy person knows the shame of quitting. But here's the final, most powerful truth. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the journey. The reason we fear starting is that we fear the imperfect result. We're waiting for the perfect idea or the perfect launch. But perfectionism is just procrastination in a fancy suit. We need to stop seeing failure as a personality flaw and start seeing it as iterative feedback. Think of it like a scientist or an inventor. Thomas Edison, for example, is famous for supposedly trying 10,000 times before perfecting the light bulb. When asked about it, he said, "I have not failed 10,000 times. I have successfully found 10,000 ways that will not work." He wasn't failing, he was gathering data. You are just gathering data. If you try a new routine and it doesn't stick, you haven't failed. You've simply learned that putting shoes by the bed doesn't work for you, and now you have the data to try putting shoes in the shower to force action. This is the growth mindset in action, the belief that your abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. Adopt this simple mantra. I didn't fail, I just learned. So let's keep it simple. If you're ambitious but lazy, here's what to do. 1. Automate with easy routines. 2. Start with the 2-minute rule. And 3. Use Swiss cheese for big projects. Your dreams are a fire, and every small action is a tiny piece of fuel. Stop waiting for the perfect moment to throw a log on the fire, and start throwing in matchsticks. What is the one small routine you're starting today? Drop it in the comments. Now go light that fire. Remember, you don't need to be perfect, you just need to be consistent.